For anyone who grew up in the 80s and 90s, Unicron is unforgettable. A planet swallowing entire worlds. But the cartoon told you a clean version. The one where he was built by a little scientist. What if that had never been true? What if the cartoon was hiding the story of a god from you? The truth begins in issue 61. The Decepticon samurai sabotaged the Autobots' journey to Earth. Instead of landing on our planet, everyone ended up in the middle of Cybertron. But this was no ordinary journey. Autobots and Decepticons were sharing the same ship, the Ark, in a fragile truce that could break at any moment. The tension on board was unbearable, and that's where we discover something that changes everything. In the depths of Cybertron lives an ancient being, dressed in robes of metal. He is called the Guardian, and he protects the most sacred thing that exists to any Transformer, the head of Primus, the god of the Transformers. Grimlock, of course, doesn't believe any of it. To him, it's all nonsense. So, to prove that it's real, the Guardian tells the true origin of the Transformers. And this is where the story turns dark. The dawn of time, two gods fought, Primus and Unicron. But it was not a battle of punches and weapons. They warred in realms of pure thought and raw energy, where reality bends and strength is not measured in muscle, but in will. And Unicron defeated Primus first on the physical plane, and then on the astral plane. He says that Primus was pushed to the edge of his very being, to the edge of nothingness. Defeated and cornered, he made one last desperate attempt. He escaped into a huge metal asteroid, deceiving the enemy. And here's the even stranger detail. Unicron, thinking that Primus knew something he didn't, did exactly the same thing. And both of them got trapped. Inside his prison, Primus learned to shape the rock around him, and he turned it into a planet, Cybertron. But Unicron learned too. He shaped his prison into a planet that devours planets. A colossal machine capable of transforming into a robot. To face him, Primus created a race of small robots, the Transformers, his children, each one carrying a spark, a piece of the god himself. The hero you rooted for as a child doesn't carry just a cause. He carries, within him, a fragment of the creator of all things. And then, the most tragic part of all. Unicron spent eternity hunting Primus across the cosmos, and Primus slept, hidden, to escape the enemy. But the Guardian doesn't even finish telling this story, because it's at that exact moment that the Mayhem attack squad bursts in and shoots him. And the Autobots find themselves in an impossible position. They have to fight while holding back their blows because any wrong impact could wake Primus. Meanwhile, on the other side, Scorponok sees his leadership of the Decepticons challenged by his own men. Fangry, furious, won't accept that he allowed the return of Starscream, the traitor of all traitors, to the ranks. The truce was already cracking from within before the battle even began. Back on Cybertron, the Autobots are being slaughtered, and here, a character who was always underestimated changes everything. Bumblebee, the small one, the fragile one, the one nobody took seriously, frustrated with himself, begs Primus for help. He asks, in despair, whether he and his friends have to die again to stop Unicron from coming. And then something changes in him. He finds a new inner strength, refuses to accept that fate, and charges at Bludgeon before he can hit Jazz. But there's a detail in this scene that almost no one notices. Bumblebee wasn't getting stronger by accident. He was in contact with something, and that something was listening. Bumblebee, Jazz, and Grimlock, re-energized, drive out the Decepticons. But there's an accident. Octopunch shoots Grimlock in the back. The shot ricochets off his armor and hits Primus's face. The shock wakes the god, and Primus screams, a scream that sends shockwaves through the entire planet. Hearing that, Emirate Zarin teleports the Autobots to Earth. Grimlock worries about the consequences. Bumblebee tries to reassure him, saying that no one else heard that scream. But the last page of issue 61 hides a truth that no one on board knew. Out in deep space, Unicron heard Primus's scream, and he woke up. And then 2 years of silence, 2 whole issues. And when the story finally resumes, it opens with an entire page dedicated to a single image, an impossible form, waiting in the void. And now the origin is told again, but this time by none other than Primus himself, speaking through the possessed body of Emirate Zaron, and this version is even more disturbing. Primus reveals that he and Unicron are the only two gods, that Unicron destroyed the last universe, and that its fragments gave rise to the Big Bang, and that Primus was created by the sentient core of the new universe with a single purpose: to stop Unicron from recreating a lifeless void. Primus gathered all the Autobots and Decepticons from Earth and from Cybertron to fight Unicron in his name, and he names Optimus Prime leader of the combined forces. But notice one detail: as Primus speaks, a lone Autobot slips away from the group from behind. Aboard the Ark, Grimlock and the Dinobots return to the ship and find it completely empty. The whole Earth almost empty. The scan reveals a single Transformer life signal, strange, split into two parts. They head for Cybertron, and Grimlock orders Sludge to pump Nucleon into the stasis pods to revive the fallen warriors, not knowing that Megatron is there among them, inactive. Back on Cybertron, Circuit Breaker's fragile mind is about to snap, and Blackrock asks Optimus to have Primus send him back to Earth. But the god simply goes silent. The light fades. No answer comes. Nearby, the hordes mentally controlled by Unicron gather, and they have a single target: Optimus Prime. Then something unexpected happens. Scorponok asks to speak with Optimus alone, and confesses in his own words that he is afraid of dying. Optimus admits he feels the same, and the two leaders, enemies in a war of millions of years, draw closer. But before they can say more, the possessed of Unicron surround them. Scorponok notices something strange. The possessed do not want him. They want only Optimus. After hesitating for an instant, Scorponok returns to battle and saves Optimus. And when one of the possessed approaches Optimus from behind with a grenade, Cyclonus crushes his hand before he can detonate it. Cyclonus did not do this out of loyalty. He wants Optimus alive, so that Unicron pays for what he did to him. Because even the possessed, these creatures who attack Optimus without mercy, are victims. In the middle of battle, one of them screams that Unicron has to pay for what he did to him. Meanwhile, the Creation Matrix has finished repairing its ship, the deranged Thunderwing. The battle turns in the Autobots' favor. Scorponok is torturing the last possessed one when Optimus stops him. He suspects that those robots are not acting of their own free will, that they are innocent victims of Unicron, and Primus confirms. Unicron planted a dormant program in several of his creations, eras ago, wolves hidden in the flock, and Primus named Optimus leader on purpose, to draw the possessed out and test the strength of the Alliance. Optimus is about to confront Primus for all those manipulations, and even Cup challenges the god, asking how he let Unicron get so close, if he claimed to be aware of every move. The question hangs in the air, unanswered. Then they made a decision that changed everything. They stopped looking at the god who commanded them and looked up. Unicron had arrived. If this video made you see a character you thought you already knew in a whole new light, share it with someone who grew up watching Transformers. And if you want to know the dark origin of another classic villain the TV kept hidden from you, subscribe to the channel, because the next video is about a character who seemed harmless but had a deeply disturbing past. See you then.